Hello, my name is Adolfo and this is Life Adolfo. Today I want to cover the Scott Francis Key collapse, and that's when a cargo ship collided with the infrastructure, the columns holding the bridge up. Now, I don't want to cover a lot on what happened or what possibly happened because we don't know the full details. We're just going by the he said, she said, and what we assume that happened. But I want to cover something that I believe that is going to be enforced. As for me, I was in the Navy for 20 years. Out of those 20 years, I was on a naval ship vessel for 12 to 14 years. That does not make me an expert. I was not a navigator, quartermaster, a bosun mate, or someone working in the engineer department to know things that could happen that will cause a ship to collide. Now, the rumor is it was loss of power. It could have been other things, loss of steering, loss of power, or whatever the case. In the Navy, when there's loss of power, we didn't have it. If you look at the image, you could see there was loss of power for more than a second or two, at least 3 or 4 seconds. In all my time in the Navy, the loss of power was like a split second and it came back up. They made an announcement, loss of power, and that's when everything got checked. Also, I looked at some of the comments and some people said that they should have dropped an anchor. Some said that the port side anchor or on the port side there was an anchor dropped. I don't know because I couldn't see it. Loss of power is more difficult to drop the anchor. So I'm not sure how it was dropped or if it was dropped. Now, when it comes to the things that I see in the Navy when I was manning the rails, like I said, I'm not an expert, that I didn't see, or you cannot see one of them. And the one that you can't see is that I think is going to get enforced in case they didn't have it, is a local navigator. Would a local navigator prevent this? I would say the possibility is no. But a local navigator will help you navigate from the open waters to your mooring station, to the place that you're going to moor, the pier, the dock, prevent you from shallow waters and things that you're not used to because you're navigating on open waters. And what if you're a captain, a navigator that is new, that is unfamiliar with these territories? I believe that that's one of the things that is going to get regulated or enforced in case this ship didn't have it. But like I said, I don't think it would have prevented from it colliding. The second one is something that I didn't see. I also saw it in the comments, and that's tugboats. I saw someone in the comments on one of the TikTok videos that he used to work on tugboats, and as soon as they say they don't need help, they leave. In the Navy, we get the tugboats from the mooring, from the place that were moored all the way to open waters. From open waters all the way to we get moored. One time we had this incident that we almost collided when we were about to go moor because there were ship to ship aside. And I'm not sure if the tugboats prevented it, the bosun mates that were mooring the lines, or the navigator, whatever the case. I was manning the rails and I thought we were going to hit the other ship. So I'm not sure, but tugboats will they prevent from colliding on this circumstance? I believe that 80 to 90% chance it would, maybe 100, because you could see that the boat was heading towards the infrastructure, the columns, and with tugboats, they will try to center it in between the two columns holding the bridge up. And I believe that that's going to be enforced because I did not see them at the same time. The collision happened at 1:30 a.m., around 1:30 a.m. That is hard to see on the dark if there's tugboats. But I do believe that is it's a common sense thing to do. Now that I left the Navy, I'm not sure how much they cost. Maybe they didn't want to pay. Maybe they let the tugs leave earlier. But if you already lost the power once, I'm not sure if you could have called them back or whatever the case, but I didn't see no tugboats. Now, as for the Francis Scott Key Bridge, I'm not familiar with that bridge. I was a sailor in the Pacific. I lived in the Pacific on the West Coast, so I'm not familiar with it. I'm familiar with the Coronado Bridge in San Diego, and I do know that we always use tugboats. And I believe they're going to get enforced because there's other bridges. Imagine the Golden Bay Bridge, a ship hitting it. We always use a tugboat, especially in a carrier that the mast is so close. If you look up, it's so close to the Golden Bay Bridge that you need to use precaution. You have to center the ship so it doesn't hit the top or the columns. And like I said, it's a combination of a navigator and local navigator and tugboats that will help you prevent certain things. I'm not saying it might not happen, but the odds of it is slimmer because the tugboats help a lot. And I know that I mentioned the carrier, and the carrier does not go under the Coronado Bridge before anybody that has been in San Diego say something. Like I said, I was 12 years on ships. I was in amphibs, destroyers. A destroyer always had 2 tugboats at a minimum, and the destroyer is a lot smaller, for me, smaller than the cargo ship that hit that infrastructure that I believe it might need more than two or more tugboats if that's the case. But I do believe that they're going to be regulated or probably enforced because, like I said, it helps prevent or minimize the odds of you hitting the infrastructure, because the tugboat would have directed it more to the center mass compared to when it lost power, according to what they say, and hit the column or the infrastructure. As for the vehicles that were on the bridge, I'm not sure how many they were, how many people fell on the vehicles, but I do know what the mayor or the police said in the conference is that 30,000 vehicles cross on a daily basis for commute to work. I'm not sure if that's the total or they just given approximately only for work. And in one way, I don't want to sound bad, but in one way, it's good that it happened at night. And we never came at night. Only one time we arrived at night on a naval ship. And that, for me, also surprised me. The good thing about night is that there's less vehicles. As for us in the Navy, the only time that we arrive at night to more is after 9/11, and we were trying to come in without nobody knowing, like a week after, since we were already on deployment on Westpac at that time, and we were coming back after a 6-month deployment. Hopefully you like my video. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I did see tugboats every time that we manned the rails on a naval ship. I always see the navigator arriving on a tugboat, getting on board, and also when he was leaving. As for what does it man the rails means for people that haven't been or never heard of it, for the Navy is when we stand on the line, when we stand on the edge of the ship and you could see all the ship arriving with all the sailors. You could type in man the rails Navy and you'll see what I mean. Thank you, and thank you for watching. Hopefully you like my video and what I recommend or what I think is going to get enforced. Thanks.